everyone, welcome to the Clydesdale Fitness and Friends. My name is Scott Schweitzer. I am your host, and I am the Clydesdale, and we love to do fitness, and these are my friends. And as always, I have Kat and Amy with me.
Hello.
And we have a special guest, Dave Newman from RX Smart Gear, and our new sponsor to the podcast. We're so excited about that sponsorship. So Dave, so glad you could join us. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, well, yeah, my wife and I own and operate RX Smart Gear. So we're fitness manufacturing and pretty much specialize in jump ropes, I guess is what we're most known for. We have a handful of other products. We're located here in Southern California, in the East County of San Diego. And we have 2 teenage boys, 2 dogs, we have a lot of fun. My wife and I have been CrossFitting for over 12 years, dedicatedly now, at the same gym, same coaches and owners this whole time, which is really fun. And in fact, our facility at RX Smart Gear is literally right next door to CrossFit East County, which is, our home gym that our friends own. So we literally close our roll-up door and walk through their roll-up door and, do our workout. So it's pretty awesome.
That's really cool. So what made you get into the fitness industry and specifically jump ropes?
I'm going to try my best to really cliff note that, that story. So, I was a real estate broker for over 15 years, and in the crash of 2008, found myself with a lot more time on my hands, found myself horribly out of shape. I really misprioritized the previous decade and, focusing on career and all of those things. So a buddy, dragged me into CrossFit, really did not want to go. He actually tried talking me into it for 8 months, and I kept shutting him down, and finally went in, and that was in May of 2008. And like everybody else's experience, it was horrible and amazing all in the same puddle of sweat and snot. I've been doing it ever since. And so the jump rope thing came along really as an accident. My wife and I used to coach competitive gymnastics back when we were in college. My wife was highly competitive. Myself, not so competitive, but I got into competitive coaching in the college age. And but I had some gymnastics experience and background, and it was just really odd to me that I was struggling with double unders like everybody else, And back then in 2008, there was a lot less information around as to different type of products, different techniques and progressions and things like that. So I was kind of the laughing stock of my gym at double unders. I was pretty good at most other things, and I could hold my own pretty well in workouts. But if it had double unders in it, everybody knew they were going to eat my lunch, and they just couldn't wait for it, So yeah, back in the early day, it was pretty ruthless in the old days. So it was a problem that I had that I wanted to solve, and just started diving into it and trying to figure out, what was wrong with either the equipment I was using or wrong with what I was doing with the equipment. And it turned out it was all of those things, and just kind of took a gymnastics coach's, analytical perspective as far as biomechanics. Started looking at things from common sense physics and, how things should work and move and spacing and all those different things. And yeah, it was just really a fun project that kind of took a life of its own. And, here we are, going on 12 years later. We've been in business for over 11 now. Just can't imagine the level of impact and success that we've had, with really just a kind of a farce, a garage hobby,
Yeah. So what I found interesting when I first found you guys was that your handles are completely different than any other jump rope I'd ever seen in my life. Every other jump rope had that plastic cone-shaped handle, and even some of the big names in the industry today still use that plastic cone-shaped handle. You guys, it's much thicker. It's got like a stickier grip to it. It's formed to my hand. And for me at Clydesdale, it was heavier than those other handles and made it a lot easier for me to swing. So how did you come up with that handle?
Well, so that's the funny thing. First, can I say hi? Somebody else jumped on there. That I
Yeah,
didn't get
so
to see.
Charlie jumped on with us too.
There's Charlie.
You've met him over the phone,
Yeah,
but
how
now
you
you
doing,
get to see
Charlie?
him.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. Good to see you. Yeah, so the funny thing about the handle is that I did not design that handle. That handle had actually been around, been on the market for quite a few years, just, sold in a usually a fairly cheap jump rope at a sporting goods store. And, when I was on my tinkering phase, I call it the golfer's mentality, right? When I would, when a golfer slices their shot off the tee, it's not their swing, it's the club. So they go buy a new club to try and fix the slice. I kept buying new jump ropes, trying to figure out, well, what is it with the jump rope? And so that was one of the ones that I bought had those handles. Then I started figuring out, kind of what I liked from each jump rope and started Frankensteining them together, taking the best parts of each rope and putting them together. And, those handles, what I liked about them, exactly like you said, Scott, is that, they really have, a very common thread for ergonomic grip. If you look at most things in life an everyday life that we hold on to, it's got about a 1-inch diameter, if you just think about a bicycle grip, a broomstick, it can go on. Most everything has about 7/8 to a 1-inch, diameter handle. So it just made the most sense to me that it was comfortable for me as well. Those original handles came with a cheap foam sleeve over them that used to always slide off. So I would just get rid of it and then just bought tennis over grip, which is the best stuff you can put on a handle, right? That's the tennis guys figured that out, and so we just borrowed from them and added it to a jump rope. And so I definitely like to try and I take credit for that. We were the first ones to ever take tennis grip and wrap around a jump rope, and now everybody does it, So, but it's comfortable. So, and you can customize it and have all the fun colors and things.
Well, I will say, I think the handles definitely, like, double unders has always been a challenge for me too. And just, I've had to stop and relearn and try out the different jump ropes. And your jump rope, actually, I loved the handles. That was the only one. And that's the only rope that I will stay with. So I think the handles definitely are unique in that sense. But can you talk about why, or the thinking behind the different weights of the cables for the ropes, and what the thinking is on that, and how we can kind of guide some of maybe our listeners to what might work best for them?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's a great topic to cover. Resistance is everything. Resistance is key, because, what resistance does is it gives the user a connection to the rope moving around them. And a lot of people like to think that going lighter is better, right? If I get a lighter rope that's quicker, I don't have to jump as high, it'll get around me faster. And this is when they're trying to learn. And what they're failing to recognize is now they have to learn a new skill at a faster pace than you want to, right? So you're not going to really develop good integrity of movement when you're just trying to get out of the way of the rope and just hope that your timing is on. So when you have more resistance that actually in the cable itself, right? So you're talking about the different diameters of cord. When you have a little bit more resistance, that allows you to slow the rope down, yet still feel connected to the rope and be able to track it moving around your body. So now, and it won't collapse, right? A thinner, lighter cord, if you move it too slow, it'll just collapse. It needs a little more speed in order to kind of stay open like a parachute. Whereas something with a little bit more resistance can move slower around your body. You still feel connected to it through your fingertips, and you can see it better. So it just gave you so many more tools to try and integrate with the rope and time yourself better to jump out of the way and move at a slower pace. So really just common sense. When we travel around and teach our workshops at Power Monkey camps and all over the country, we put everybody in a heavier cord than they're used to, right? Everybody wants to use a speed wire. And that's been our soapbox. We get on our soapbox for a decade now, trying to tell people that speed wires are great. It's one facet of jump rope, right? To me, a speed wire is like doing thrusters with a PVC pipe. You're not getting a lot out of it, right? You're doing the movement, and you can do it really, really fast, and you can do it longer with less fatigue. But what are you really getting out of it? So it's just one facet of the skill. So we really like to try and get people to have more of a baseline rope or cable weight, which is in the 3 to 4 ounce range as your everyday use rope. And when you're comfortable with that, then going lighter feels easier because it's lighter, and going heavier, which is now a fun option to test yourself and add some resistance, and going heavier is not that big of a jump. But if you are only using a speed wire all the time and that's all you're accustomed to, anything else is going to feel heavier, So yeah, so that's really the approach there.
Well, I know one of my biggest problems is that I spin the rope too fast. So
Yeah.
like for me, the heavier rope is better because it actually slows me down and lets me feel like what you said, like feel the rope and get in, I don't know, be one with the rope, I guess is the way to do it. And what's a funny story, and you and I talked about the other day, is when I first got with RX to use them was at the 2014 regionals. You were the one that actually got me from 8 to 12 consecutive double unders to 30 double unders, and you immediately put me on the heavier rope.
Yeah, I know. What a neat story that we connected way back then and didn't even really know it.
Yeah. And so like that, now that's the one I love the most. I actually love the heavier rope more than I do the light rope.
Me too. Like on the daily, I will always choose something heavier to work out with, to train, right? I always am perplexed when we'll meet people that say, I really want a lighter rope because I don't want to feel it. I don't want to feel double unders during a workout. And unless you're competing in the games for $300,000, the rest of us are just exercising to be fitter and live a healthier life. And I think you do want to feel it. You should feel it. There should be a physical stimulus to any exercise you do. But people that love us but we're dumb, people that do CrossFit, it's like, I want to finish the workout faster, and that means that I'm fitter because I finished the workout faster. But all you're really doing is gaming a part of the workout that you can kind of go lighter on, right? Go easier on. So yeah, I don't agree with that mentality, and we're always trying to kind of prod people to think a little bit more in depth and think about what are they trying to get out of their fitness. And when we express that to them and point out, like, you don't swing the same kettlebell weight every workout, that changes. You don't thruster the same weight every workout, right? You're going lighter if you're going to do higher reps and go faster. You go heavier, for more stimulus on the heavier. And so same thing with the jump rope. It's just a fitness tool, move it around.
Anybody else have questions for Dave?
Yeah, not necessarily jump rope related, but I'm curious. So you said you have 2 teenage boys. Do they do CrossFit, or what kind of, are they into sports, and what are they into?
Yeah, so they did do CrossFit. They don't so much now. Our oldest son, he had the misfortune of growing up, when we were really active on the road with RX, and we were traveling to a lot of the events. And so he would tag along with us and was, learning how to sell jump ropes and coach jump rope and do all those things at a pretty young age. So he got a little burnt out and is not too interested. But both our boys, the older one graduated high school a year ago. So, first year of college was last year. And but he played water polo in high school. Both boys played water polo, and they both swam. They're both avid surfers, avid rock climbers. But now, so my younger son is a junior in high school, and he's in water polo season now, kind of in their abbreviated season. We're waiting to see if they're going to have any scheduled games coming up here. And my older son, who still lives at home with us, I'm going to brag about him a little bit. He actually got into pottery in high school. was introduced to pottery in a 3D art class and just got hooked. It was just something that kind of resonated with him. He had a knack for it. And so for his 17th birthday, we bought him a pottery wheel, and he threw it in the playhouse in our backyard and started, just having fun, just, making mugs and pots and bowls. And, that was probably 2.5 years ago. So fast forward to now, he, with the whole quarantine and TikTok, being as popular as it was, he's the most widely viewed ceramicist in the world now.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's got like a combined 5 million followers, just for all of his pottery. And he's an okay looking kid, so that,
he's a pretty big deal is what you're saying.
And he's a nice kid, so that's his thing. He's a ceramicist, and that's his passion that he's chasing. And we're waiting to see what the younger one's passion is. But they're in fact, they're both surfing right now. They went out for an afternoon surf session. So
that's so cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. And you guys are in Ohio right now, right?
Yeah, except for Kat.
That's the odd one out.
I'm in Delaware, Dave.
Oh, Delaware. Wow. Okay. So
yeah.
It's late for you.
It's not that bad. 8 o'clock.
So,
she's on the front of we're in the same time zone. She's on the front of it. We're on the back end of it.
Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
You guys excited about the online games happening here?
Yeah, that's going to be most of our talk tonight after we say goodbye to you. But yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm excited too.
I thought I heard Kat go. No,
I did. No, I was just going to say that, I've been coaching CrossFit for about 4 years now, and I have literally a bookmark on my phone that is a link to the correct weighted rope that all of my beginner jump ropers should use. Because, you go to the gym, you don't have your own jump rope, and you use the crappy ones that, are provided to you that don't stay in the handle, and the screws pop off, and they're not the right height, they're not the right length and everything else. And it's one of the first questions that new athletes ask is, how do I get double unders? What kind of jump rope should I get? And it's literally like the first thing that I just send to them. Here's the link, just go get one of these.
Awesome.
Super helpful.
Appreciate that. Yeah. People in CrossFit these days, they're spoiled, huh? Things are, everything got kind of figured out for them now. And so, they can kind of get right to go past all the trial and error and get right to the good stuff.
We need you, Dave, we need you to develop a rope that actually counts repetitions for us, though, because I will say that is the thing that people fail miserably at, even when they're doing it in their own head. Counting double unders is hard.
I agree. You know what? It is. And, I've actually had these discussions with Dave Castro and Adrian Bozeman, and there's a lot of different opinions about this. And I have a lot of friends and people in the competitive jump rope world, which is a whole different arena. And we have these debates, but, one thing I'll recommend is we always count the up. If you're looking at the body, we count the up, and the games crew and all the judges and a lot of people in CrossFit and also in the competitive jump rope world, they count the down. Right. And what we found is that you can do both. If you know what you're doing and you know what to look for, you can do both accurately. We just find that more people seem to get off count when they count the down. And if you really understand what's happening with a double under, you're technically done when you're in the air. Or you have to be in the air for the rep to be finished, right? Second rotation clears your feet, then you impact the ground to rebound again. At the point that you impact the ground, that rope has already come most of the way around your body. You're halfway into the next rep. Technically, that once it passed under your feet and you hit the ground, that next rotation is the first rotation of your next double under, right? So, we always ask people to follow the person's body with your hand. When they go up is when you count the rep, assuming that it doesn't catch their feet, which is the same as if they were going down and if the rope catches their feet, you wouldn't count that rep either. But if you just count the up, and where people start to have trouble is when they get into the longer syllable numbers, 71, 77, 78. So what you get into a rhythm of is you get half of the syllables on the downstroke. So it'd be 78, right? Finished in the air. 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, right? And if it caught his feet on 83, he's on 82, right? You take that rep away. You would do that if they landed on the down also. And the reason I really stress that is, especially in CrossFit, name a movement in CrossFit where the rep isn't completed on the upstroke. Name a rep, or give me a movement, an exercise.
It's not completed on the upstroke?
It is completed. Or yeah, tell me one that's not. Yeah, correct. Most every rep in CrossFit of any movement is finished on the up.
Yeah.
There are some that are finished on the down, but I'm testing you guys to see if you guys could think of them. There's a couple. Think about it. Burpee finishes up. Snatch finishes up. You know, pull up finishes up. Muscle up finishes on the up. Box jump finishes on the up. Everything finishes on the up. So with a double under, we like to finish on the up because it's just more consistent. But what finishes on the down? I'll let you in on it. Anytime you have to jump over something. So box jump
over.
There you
right?
go.
Burpee over the rower, right? Burpee over the dumbbell. So when you got to jump over something, then it finishes on the down. Otherwise, everything else is up. So I would just tell people to start training, counting the up, and just work on that, and just make your hand and your rhythm follow the person's movement. So I watch their head, and when their head hits the peak of their jump, that's when I'll count the rep, assuming it clears, right?
Yeah.
That's great.
Really
That's cool.
Yeah, hope that helps.
Definitely.
Well, we're already out of time. I had one more question, but I'm going to save it for the next time. I want to let our listeners know that Dave's going to be with us once a month, and he's going to answer any questions that we or any of you have. If you have any questions for Dave about jump roping or techniques or anything like that, please send them in or DM us on social, and we'll get those questions to Dave, and he'll answer those in next month's segment. We also have some big news because of our relationship with RX Smart Gear. The Clydesdale Fitness and Friends have a discount code, and we're excited to announce that is live and online right now. You can go out to rxsmartgear.com and use the code Clydesdale15, and that gets you 15% off anything in the store with the exception of new releases and special editions.
Correct. Yeah, and make sure it's all caps. Clydesdale is all caps.
Okay. Clydesdale, all caps, 15% off everything in the store. Thank you so much, Dave. It's been awesome. Thank you for joining us and starting this relationship. We're super excited to move forward with you guys because we all use your product, and we hope the world will now too.
Well, appreciate it. Well, thanks for having me on. And yeah, we're stoked to work with you guys and love what you guys are doing. So happy to be a part of it.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
We have a great night, Dave.
You guys
Take care.
So we're excited. That was awesome. Dave coming on to talk about jump ropes and how he got started. I'm really excited with this relationship.
He looks a little bit like Eric Rosa.
I knew you were going to say that.
He does.
Right? I like him. Okay.
Yeah,
Hi, Charlie. You're on mute.
I know.
Okay.
It's a necessity.
What's up?
So, this is a new era for us. I am so giddy that we have a sponsor that believes in us this much and is coming on and doing a monthly segment. I'm just ecstatic. And that's the last thing I'm going to say about that. We'll move on to like our normal roundtable, but this is really cool.
Very.
So it's games week, everybody. We never thought it would come. Polypragmatist up there in my little box up above the screen had been the naysayer of this for a very long time.
Now I'm pleasantly surprised, right?
But it's here. It's not the way we thought it would be, but we have something.
Yeah.
And so the first question I'm just going to throw out there to you guys, it's games week. What's something you want to see this weekend with this online competition? Don't everybody speak at once. Do you want me to go?
I want to see a chipper.
Yeah.
A lot of couplets and a lot of single modality things have been released so far. So we need something flashy. I want something flashy.
One of the things I want to see is Sarah Sigmundsdottir finish in the top 5. So I am right and you guys are wrong.
Okay. And Michael Andrak will be happy.
That 1,000-meter row is going to be insane. And I just wish it was like a head-to-head thing, because I still can't sort of visualize or picture how this is all going to go down and how we as the viewers are going to experience it. And so that's where I'm still kind of like, oh, what's going to happen? Because I would love to see, it is going to be like such a close race. That 1,000-meter row is going to be insane.
What's funny is
go ahead, Charlie.
That's something that Con had asked for, that Amy was talking. Obviously Amy's a fan, but he was hoping for a long row because he figured that was the way he'd get in the top 5. So we'll see if he can put his money where his mouth is there.
Yep.
One thing I know for sure is Sam Briggs is probably going to win a workout.
I was just going to say, I want to see Sam Briggs just like totally crushed, just like she did on that snatch workout at Rogue.
Probably won't be that front squat though.
Probably not going to be the front.
But she will. I would lay money she wins a row. She is the best.
I can see that. Yeah.
Do we know how these events are going to be spread apart? Like, are they?
Yeah. So if you go to games.crossfit.com, it has all the workouts that have been released, and then what block they have to be done in, and then what that time frame is.
Okay. So like the first 2, is it 2 a day?
There's 2 blocks a day.
Okay.
So block 1 has to be event 1 and event 2.
Got it.
And it is from 9 to noon.
Tomorrow.
Local time.
So in 3 hours, they have to do that Fran, the 21.
3 rounds of 21.
Yeah. Sorry, you were shaking your head like I was wrong. 21. No. Yeah. You were.
Like,
and then the front 1 rep max front squat. So that's the first segment, right?
Yeah. So you have 20 minutes on the front rack or the front squat, and then the time it takes you to do the friendly Fran, and you can do it anytime in that 3-hour block.
What kind of name is this?
Yeah, that is such BS. There's nothing.
I know, nothing friendly.
I mean, the chest bars, yes, but
before we get into the events real quick, the one thing I do want to see is I don't want to see a lazy broadcast of what has happened previous to that each update. Like, it's like you said, like, we want to see some head to head. If you're going to record these 3 people who killed the row, then put them side by side on the screen and let us see them do the row. Don't just say, hey, Sam Briggs had 6:58 and show her like pull 3 times. I don't want a lazy update show. I want it like, we don't get to see it firsthand. So put something to get together that's meaningful for the viewer.
Yes.
Do we know if athletes have the ability to do any kind of like live streaming on their own? Like, is someone going to be like Instagram living people's workouts?
So that is up to the athlete.
Oh.
Okay. So there's a possibility we could just be stalking Instagram all day.
Con.
Not sure why you would though.
Do you want your competitors to know what they have to hit?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you're going last, you could do it, right? If you're going 20 minutes before the deadline.
Sure.
Fascinating.
But it's
so
really
weird.
They have said that the leaderboard will not be visible until all the scores are in and they've all been validated. So we as the viewer will not see the official leaderboard until CrossFit has reviewed everything and made the leaderboard official. However, there's no rules that the athletes cannot release their score or whatever they've done.
Right.
No way.
But what's that?
There's no way they do that.
Yeah, I think like if you're Haley and you're Saxon who have the same coach, you may share experiences in those blocks back and forth, and it doesn't hurt either one of them because one's male, one's female.
So can you do that workout more than once as long as it's in that block?
No.
Okay.
No. The
Will
only
anyone
thing
know if you did it twice? No.
Well, your
So
judge would know, right?
yeah, they're sending judges from CrossFit.
What if it was like, okay, say I'm an athlete and I'm like, listen, I'm just going to do a quick dry run. But then I was like, no, that worked out. Let's call that the score.
We'll do a dry run of all three.
I think you
rounds
have to
at 21.
declare. Yeah, you have to declare it. They have to go in order? They have to do the Fran one first? Or does it matter?
I did not see that listed anywhere. You have to.
Okay.
That would make sense to me because I think you would want to see the front squat number after that Fran.
Right. So there's probably an order then that we just.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't
after
know all
you
the fine
do
print.
63 thrusters, now let's see your front squat.
Right.
When will testing be done after your score is submitted? Just ask them
Testing's
for a friend.
happening already. Right. You're talking drug testing, Charlie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it's happening already. So
Yeah.
maybe they've gotten most of those people already.
So we've already
College
announced what events 1 and 2 are.
Yes.
Friendly Fran, the 21 thrusters, 21 chest to bars, 3 rounds for time. And that's at 185 and 115.
Yikes.
Event 2 is the establish a 1 rep max front squat in 20 minutes.
I like that.
So
Okay.
once you begin, you have 20 minutes to establish that, and then you're done. Event 3 is Damn Diane, which is 3 rounds of 15 deadlifts at 205 and 315, and 15 handstand push-ups with a deficit of 2 inches for the ladies, 3 inches for the men.
And strict. They're strict.
Ooh,
Are
I
they
missed
strict?
that part.
They're
Oh,
I
strict.
just I just jotted them down real quick. So
Yeah. I think they're strict.
They are strict.
Yep.
And
Charlie.
then
I'm all over it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Where's my
our girl Laura Horvath may have just taken
Right. I had her in my top 5 too. Darn it.
Me too.
event 4 is that 1,000 meter row for time. And then event 5 is Nasty Nancy. And that is 5 rounds of 500 meter run, 15 overhead squats at 125 and 185, and 15 bar
15.
facing burpees.
Mm.
And then event
Yeah.
6 is the max freestanding handstand hold. You have 20 minutes to establish your longest time, and you can attempt it more than once in that 20 minutes.
That's so weird.
Gary Pierce.
Yeah,
is
that's a
on
weird
all
one.
20 minutes.
Yeah. Gary
Yeah,
Pierce wins that
Good
one.
call. Good call.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Event 7 will be announced tomorrow on the update show.
Question. So events 1 through 4 are on day 1,
Yes.
and then we're assuming events 5 through 8-ish happen on day 2.
So we don't think there's an 8. We think it's 7.
Just 7.
Yeah. So I think that's
Okay.
where your chipper is going to be as event 7, because it'll be the only event in that last block.
Got it. Okay.
So general thoughts, and I know, Miss Cat, you have several thoughts about these events so far.
Yeah. I'm not a fan.
The handstand one's weird. That's weird.
I was just
Fantastic.
hoping for something different. I just feel it feels lazy to me to use Fran and Diane, and I don't know. I'm not sentimental about those workouts, so I just wished
Like,
it was a
pick
little
one
more innovative.
of them, fine. You know, do
Yeah.
friendly, fierce Fran, whatever. And then the other ones should be couplets and
Well, what were the so and all the clues that he gave like are coming true, which drives me crazy. Um was there a fourth clue on his page or was it just the three?
That's the
What was the fourth
awful
one?
Annie or
oh
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So it's probably going to be some version of Annie.
yeah.
I don't know. It's too special for me to have it like be scooped like that or, leaked through his social media. That bugs me.
So so on one hand, I can see where you're coming from. On the other hand, there's always the complaint that we get too far away from classic CrossFit. So this is like an homage right down the fairway to classic CrossFit. I scrolled Castro's Instagram with these posts to see like what's the community saying. And I have to say, like, usually, he's bashed pretty hard. I would say it was 85% positive.
Yeah.
I was really shocked. Because the one thing is I don't think it's super exciting as a fan to watch these events. They are limited, but, Rogue was pretty creative in what they did in their little box, that 6x6 box or whatever. 10
I think that's what I was, what I'm comparing it to and what I was hoping for. This feels very much just like the Open Plus.
Well, and I watched a little bit of Armin and Justin talking today on Instagram Live, and Justin made a great point that a lot of these weights, until you get to Diane, and even Diane, like some of these athletes are going to go unbroken on everything. These weights are not heavy for them.
And they're going to be like 5-minute workouts.
Now, I think the Nasty Nancy is pretty chunky. Like 5 rounds of 500-meter runs and 185 pounds overhead squats for men and 125 for women. That's not light.
Yeah.
No, those thrusters at 85 pounds, that's like what 55 pounds would feel for me.
Right.
Or the bar,
But to do, 75 overhead squats at 125 and 185, that's quite a bit.
Yeah.
At 115 is like that Sherwood is talked about, where it's that in between weird, you can go too fast and blow up, or it's just heavy enough to slow to not just kind of be scary.
Yeah, the Nancy I like the Nancy workout. I will.
Yeah, I do like the Nancy
tip
one.
my hat
That's
to
my
that one.
favorite
I like
one that I've seen released. I like the Diane with the deficit handstand push-ups, especially strict now that I know that they're strict. You just want more meat around those bones.
Right.
I'll tell you what I'm thinking. I'm not a big fan of the 1,000-meter row.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to watch, but it's not like any kind of feat of
I would be cool
fitness
with that if they were like, okay, do that and then do your 1 rep max front squat or do something heavy after that. Like that would be.
So
I don't know.
You're going to do it right after doing 45 205-pound deadlifts or 315 for the men and those deficit handstand push-ups, and then you're going to do the 1,000-meter row.
Okay, so those two, that one, okay.
I just think it should have been like 3,000 meters or something. Like 1,000 meters is not.
But at the games, you have those sprint events that are really quick.
Yeah.
And you can't run like a football field down and back like they did at the games.
Their hamstrings are going to be lit after those deadlifts.
So the other thing it's probably CrossFit, and maybe this is the plan. They're trying to make a connection with the affiliates, and they're giving the affiliates a scaled version several scaled versions of these workouts for them to be able to do at your local box, so you can kind of join in on the fun and do the games workouts. And I do like that concept, but you shouldn't do it at the expense of really testing these professionals.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes, that's the open.
Right. That's what the open's for.
But you could do like a super or games workout and scale it way back for the affiliates. So they're still like,
Right.
hey, I'm doing a games type workout without really doing it. You can up the weight. Like on that Friendly Fran, that weight should be at least 135 for men, 95 for women, at least. Probably 155, 115 would be closer to what it should be. But anyway, because of that connection, we, the Clydesdale Fitness and Friends podcast, want to bring you a special version of these workouts ourselves.
Some, maybe one of these workouts. Let's not go crazy.
One of the Metcons and one of the mono versions.
Seriously?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. And so my co-hosts, my friends, Kat and Amy, have agreed to videotape 2 of these workouts, and we're going to run them side by side. And Charlie and I are going to narrate them as the commentators.
I didn't hear that part.
And we're going to let Kat and Amy join in and tell us how it felt in each moment of those workouts. So
Right.
you can get an understanding of what the athletes are going to go through by doing these workouts.
Perfect. So you mentioned affiliates are getting scaled versions of these workouts. I own an affiliate and I am not in receipt of any of this information. How is that coming to me?
So I think it's going to be on the website, just like the Open does.
Okay.
But it was very sparse when I looked at the workouts today.
Okay.
They talk about start and finish lines on some of these things with no explanation as to like where that is, anything like that. So, but anyway, we're going to let Kat and Amy choose their adventure, and they'll pick one Metcon and one of the mono, like either the 1 rep max squat, front squat, the 1,000 meter row, which would be awesome.
I'd do both of those right there.
That's not a Metcon. You got to get a Metcon in there.
Yeah, I would do both of those too.
Fine, it's done. We're done.
25 minutes, I'm done. Okay.
Front squat, so I can get my best Coach Bergender on these
Yeah.
comments.
Yeah.
Ooh, good.
Oh, look at that guy's front rack. He's not even
Look at
letting him
Amy's
wrestle.
knees.
Yeah,
Oh
look
my
at Amy's
goodness.
knees. Are they going to dive in or not?
Or just watch her for a week.
Okay.
That's funny. That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay,
Should
well, I
be
need
good.
confirmation before we just make these decisions. And when do we have to have this by?
Soon. I'm hoping you'll have them videoed by Friday.
Done by Friday?
Yeah.
There's no way. Tomorrow is Thursday.
Be there in the morning.
Yeah. It's,
We already
it's
know
a
4 of the
workout.
workouts.
No. Nope. I don't have what the no negative. Saturday.
Maybe by Saturday afternoon.
I have to edit these and get them into video for us to overlay the
I have a
narration.
Maybe by 2021.
I
This
take
is what
back-
Amy does before every competition.
Take backs.
Can't take
Okay.
this.
I can't take it. I take it.
7:30
Can we
tomorrow.
just establish right now Amy's going to win both of these. We've already done the open comparison. I've done the open comparison. When I first met Amy, I looked her up on the CrossFit Games website and I compared every single one of our open workouts. She won probably 70% of them against me. She is also way more consistent with her fitness right now. I'm just making all the excuses I can just up front so that just in case I pull out like a 205-pound front squat,
Dang.
we'll all be surprised. That's all I'm saying.
Good.
Just put it out there.
Well, I think this is just the beginning of a beautiful kind of segment on our show. Like when the Open comes next year,
We're gonna
like to
it's gonna be
videotape both
great.
of you, put them side by side.
Okay. right? I'm like on day 13 of keto. I have like zero energy. My body has not figured out how
Okay,
to like
we understand that you're not
fat
at
that I'm
tip-top
eating.
shape, and that
Definitely
Amy
not.
has won most of the
Amy
workouts in the
is.
open and all of that stuff.
This is like the
Depends on
nutrition
the
challenge
regardless.
again.
We want to see.
I got a birthday party, and then I had this other thing.
Exactly. No, I'm excited. I think it'll be super fun. Get my ass
All
in
right,
gear
we'll
a little
talk.
bit.
We'll talk off air about which one we're gonna do.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So another thing that happened this week is the games kits went out from Reebok, and several of the athletes did unboxings on YouTube, especially. Haley Adams did hers today on Morning Chalk Up. Our girl Christy O'Connell did hers on YouTube a couple days ago to Scoop It. But they got quite a bit of gear, even though this is an online competition where they're not going to be in person in Madison. So Reebok really came to the
You choked up.
Really?
You
choked up with all this stuff. And they got 3 pairs of shoes, lifters, nanos, and then trail run shoes.
For Nancy?
I think probably. Christy got, I think she said 7 bras.
Nice.
They got like 3 pairs of shorts.
Right. New one for each workout.
Well, she said normally at the games, you're there for, 7 days, and you have to wear that uniform to every luncheon, every dinner, every briefing, and then you have to wear them to work out in, and you don't generally have a lot of laundry. So that's why they're usually that big, but they kept them that big even for this year.
Nice.
Yeah, that's great. Well, there's a limited number this year, and I imagine that the 5 that end up going to Aromas will get even more goodies. So that's very cool.
And Cara Saunders did an unboxing of her gift from Nike.
Oh, I missed that.
I have to say, I am a nano guy primarily. Like that's what I wear. Mostly because when you judge, you get enough free pairs that you have like a nice pair for life. But the freaking Metcons that they sent Cara, gorgeous. I want all of them. All of them. They do not believe in monochromatic in this year's Metcon 6. They are
lots of colors.
Unreal. If you have not seen that video, you've got to check it out because the Metcons they sent are amazing. They sent her shorts, tanks, sweatbands. She's set for a while too. So the other thing that Christy said when she unboxed her is just for you all to know is that she's a Noble athlete, and so she will wear the uniform as prescribed during the games. But she's close to 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. And when she hits that, she's going to give away the Reebok gear signed to people who comment and are subscribers of her channel when she hits 50,000.
Nice. Very cool.
So where can we watch the game? How do we follow it?
Your guess is as good as mine. Okay. No, there will be 2 shows a day. There will be an update show tomorrow. Gosh, I don't know the exact time. It's like 3 p.m. Pacific time, which would be 6 our time, is the update show tomorrow. Event 7 will be announced then, and it'll be previewing what's to come. And then there's one, I think at 6 on Friday. No. Yeah, 6 on Friday, and then one at like 9 on Friday.
So wait, what days are the people competing?
So
Thursday and Friday, or Friday and Saturday?
Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday. Okay. So tomorrow there's no recap. It's just what's the last event. Here's how things are going to work. Blippity blah. Okay.
And then Saturday, it's it might be earlier for the first one, and then earlier for the second one. I think the last one's at 6 on Saturday. I'm not exactly sure, but I think those are the times. And it gets confusing as to when people are competing because you're not going to get to see it, but it's their local time. And so actually Australia will start tomorrow night
Right.
because that will be 9 a.m. Friday for them.
Mm.
So Con Porter, Cara Saunders, James Newberry,
Harriet.
yes, Harriet Roberts, and
Jay Crouch. Is Jay Crouch?
Yep.
Charlie, did you just say Ricky Gerard?
Yes.
So I don't know if you saw
what
it today,
is-
Charlie. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kat.
No, I was just going to say, what is Lefty's time zone so we can check his live Instagram?
Oh, that guy. His is time zone FU.
Yeah.
But anyway, Ricky on Dave's Instagram came the closest to guessing what the actual workouts were. And Dave gave him props on his Instagram today.
Okay.
Love it. The kid's coming back. He's eligible next year, I think.
That's my guy.
And then next on the list is our girl Brooke Haas, who was back, a few episodes in the 30s with us, maybe 36, trying to guess off the top of my head. She sustained an injury and announced that on Instagram. It was something that's making her leg go numb, which I know all too well because that's what happened to me a couple years ago. And she says she's only at 70%, but sometimes things get tough and shit gets real and you just got to keep pushing forward. So she's going to compete at 70%.
Can I say something about that? So
You can.
I don't know if you guys were like following this comments on social, but there's a lot of uproar about, well, if you're hurt, drop out and let someone else take your place or something. And I just thought that was kind of ridiculous at this juncture, right? Like there's so much planning involved and it was just silly. Somebody said like, well, Emily Rolfe should get your spot. If you're not going to be 100%, it's not fair and blah, blah, blah. So whatever, you people. It's Brooke's spot.
That kind of went through my head. Just like, I wonder if I was Emily Rolfe, how I'd be feeling. But at the end of the day, she earned her spot.
Right. Emily didn't earn it. So nothing against Emily.
I think the world of Emily, but she qualified by finishing like 8th at Wadapalooza. Now it was a stacked field, but she finished 8th at Wadapalooza. Like Brooke qualified by finishing top 20 in the open.
Right. Legit. Yeah.
And she deserves that spot as long as she can function.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
I do have to say the thing that is a little frustrating is, Morning Chalk Up broke this. What was it, this morning or last night? And I actually was talking to Brooke last week and knew this story then. I didn't realize that it was a story worth breaking. Plus, I didn't want to give away her personal information. Something she told me, what I thought was in confidence, and I didn't want to break that because, we try to keep relationships with everybody we talk to on our podcast, and I want to keep that and honor that privacy, unless she would say, yeah, it's cool to release that or something. But and then we want to talk about Charlie's girl, the forgotten top 10 athlete. And the reason I kind of brought this up is I took it from Tommy Marquez and something he said, that Danielle Brandon finished 11th at the games last year, and due to Anna Fracow's drug suspension, moved up as the 10th place finisher in the CrossFit Games, but nobody got to see her compete as a top 10 athlete because she didn't make the cut and Anna Fracow did. So this year, there's a really good chance, she's a great athlete, that she finishes in the top 10 again. But if she doesn't finish in the top 5, but 6 through 10, she could be a 2-time top 10 finisher and nobody will ever have seen her compete in the top 10. And for a great athlete and someone who really was coming on the scene as a rookie last year, and did really well at Mayhem this year against Christy and Tia, to kind of hang with them. and to not really get to show your stuff, I'm really rooting for her. It made me think like, man, she's a real underdog, and it'd be really cool to kind of see her hit that top 5 and kind of get some recognition for what she's done over the last couple years. Thoughts, Charlie?
I think she will be in top 5. She has a dog named Charlie, so everything is just stars are lining up. He's a Nike athlete. She should probably come on a podcast just because why not? That's how you become
She should.
famous.
She should.
And she is. I mean, that watching her at Mayhem, she pretty much hung with Tia the whole time. If I remember right, she got second. So she's got the skills to do it.
I would love nothing more than to see a bunch of, wild card people that we hadn't thought of or talked about get in the top 5. Nothing would make me happier. I would love to see things shaken up.
It could be fun.
Yeah.
If that happens, man, the programming will get attacked like nobody's business.
I mean, I feel like anybody in these rosters could win any of these events. I think that's why I was questioning earlier, like, is this really going to give us, the top 5? Because it's really going to depend on like, how you feel on this day. And they feel very open-esque. And I think it's going to favor those open athletes, the Jeff Adlers, the Roman Krenikovs, all those guys who, might not have been in that situation if we had started in Madison like a normal CrossFit Games. That's all.
Well, and the point that the time differential for Friendly Fran is going to be tiny.
Yeah.
They're all going to finish in a small grouping.
And same with the row and the front squat. I mean, that front
Yep.
squat is going to be, it's going to be interesting. And I wonder if they have tiebreakers sort of built into some of these events.
Yeah,
And what
nothing
are
was
they?
posted about that
Yeah.
on the site, but yeah, I don't know.
And what's the scoring going to look like?
That has not been
Are-
announced either, and we're
Right?
less than
Are we
48
on, like-
hours away.
Yeah.
Are we on a 100-point scale? Are we on something different? What's it going to look like?
We don't know if these scores are carrying over to the top 5.
Right.
So that's going to be interesting.
I think this handstand hold could really screw some people over. I mean, really?
Bigger athletes.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be working the entire 20 minutes, right? I mean, because you could hold it for a minute, come down, and maybe you get a minute 2 seconds. So you're going to try again,
Mhm.
right? You're basically going to be handstand holding for 20 minutes.
Like if you're Laura Horvath, you're good enough to be in the top 5, but these are not going to go.
This may not be the event. Yeah.
Right.
This is not an event for Clydesdales.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
All right, so we're running a little bit long, so let's get to our stupid questions of the week.
Okay.
And our first stupid question is, what is your favorite all-time animated, either Disney or Pixar movie?
And we're choosing one, correct?
One.
Okay.
As hard as that was, I am down to one.
Okay. I'll go first.
Okay.
This was really hard for me because I was like, do I pick the ones that I loved when I was a kid or what? But I kept getting stuck on this one, and it was Finding Nemo. And the reason was,
Of course.
Is that yours?
Yes.
I bet I know why. Well, because it came out right when about Nathan was, I think maybe it came out even before Nathan was born, but it was like the first movie I ever watched with my son, and like it was his favorite, and we had his second birthday party was all about Finding Nemo. So that's the one I just always think about as a parent.
Yeah, it was on repeat at our house too. I mean, Amy and I have children of the exact same age. And so my kids grew up with that movie on repeat. It's it's a great one. Love it.
So that's the difference between men and women is the movies that were on repeat in my house are the ones I like the least.
Well, National Treasure, yes, that's another movie that's on repeat in my house that I can't stand. But I will sit down and watch Finding Nemo any day of the week.
Yep.
Charlie,
It's
do we
a
match?
gorgeous movie.
Are we twins today? What do you got?
I'm gonna have to see. I've had multi generations of Disney from
Yeah.
forever. But Lion King, the original, not this nonsense now, is probably the top of the list.
We are twins.
Oh,
That's so funny.
Lion King, far and away the best movie, and the first movie that was originally written by Disney, wasn't an adaptation of a children's book.
Great acting, great villain,
Great music.
great music,
Actually had one of the songs played at my wedding.
Wow.
great side
wow.
co-stars.
It's funny. That's cool. I like that we all picked the same thing.
Oh yeah. So the second one, this one's a little more difficult. If personally you could be sponsored by any company in the world other than RX Smart Gear, because we know we all want to be sponsored by them,
We already are. So
who would it be? And let's start with Kat.
okay. So you know how my brain works. I went through a lot of thinking here. I immediately, first reaction, Ben and Jerry's, right? Because I love their ice cream. And I thought that's probably not a wise decision. It's not very good for my health. So then I got to thinking about things I spend the most money on, right? Because you get free stuff when you get a sponsorship. So what would be sort of practical? Most practical would be like Rogue or Reebok, right? But those aren't my answers. Okay. Rogue or Reebok. I'm a small gym owner. That's where all my money goes, basically, Rogue or Reebok. But then I thought, okay, well, what are some things that I would really enjoy doing in my life that I don't get to do because I don't spend money on it? And if I were to get sponsored by, a particular company or brand that would allow me to do things that I think I might enjoy doing. So I decided that I would like to get sponsored by Ritz-Carlton, because I figured they have properties all over the world. And if I am one of their, primary sponsorees, they're going to fly me to all of their properties and I get to stay there for free. And there's all my travel is paid for and I get all these fun adventures with that.
All right, since Amy, you let it out of the bag a little bit. What do you got?
Well, since I asked some early questions today to ask what qualifies it, you said it couldn't be a person.
Who was your person answer?
Com Porter.
Com Porter.
So I guess I have to choose being sponsored by CrossFit Play, his gym.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
No, really, what though? I did say Rogue. I was thinking of Rogue because it's a local company, and I was like, I could definitely benefit from having, a bunch of free stuff and that. So that was mine.
That one's not too shabby. I would love to be sponsored by Rogue.
Yeah, they can call me up.
Mine, I would say, is probably Nike, because you get the Kohan brand, you get the Hurley brand, you get Nike brand, get all the other side deals as part of your. Plus, they seem to pay a lot of people a lot of money for no random reason. But yeah, and I'm a Metcon guy, and those Metcons are great, and I'm going to have something very soon.
So my first thought was, man, I couldn't get a drink before this podcast. Now I am suffering.
Pulse water?
So I need to be sponsored by, O2. The first thing that came to my mind was the Wisconsin Cheese Association, because I love cheese more than any food in the world. And I would love that. But when it comes down to it, I want to be sponsored by Ford so that I can have the new Ford Bronco, the coolest car ever to be made in this country.
Yeah, I cannot wait for that car to come out. I want to see it. And I did think about car companies as one of the things, but I was thinking like Ferrari or something, a little more exotic.
I'm more of a truck, off-road, big tire kind of guy. And that Ford Bronco is sweet.
Nice Ford Escort.
Yeah, no.
That question was fun though. It was fun to sort of daydream a little bit and think about, what you'd want.
Who else would be great to be sponsored by would be RX Smart Gear. I don't know if that's something that you guys were thinking about, but just something that just came to my head.
All right. Next week's guest. Moving on.
Did you guys miss me?
Yes.
Have you seen Mike Tyson's training video yet?
Hey.
No, but I have seen the Russian slap fighting.
Don't talk about what's best on my internet.
Okay.
So next week's guest is none other than CrossFit OG. Been around since the beginning and did it as a female.
And quite the businesswoman.
Correct. Affiliate owner, worked for HQ, helped develop some programs at NorCal CrossFit.
Games athlete,
and
Andy
then
Broflex.
created the biggest non-CrossFit programming
subscription
Service.
in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is none other than Miranda Alcaraz. And I have to say, she had the most beautiful backdrop of anybody we've ever interviewed on this podcast, because we learned that she graduated college as an interior decorator.
Yep.
That was really cool.
And her backdrop was stunning.
It was gorgeous.
And so you have to check that out on Monday to check out the backdrop. And it was a super fun interview. She was very open about all the stuff she went through, all the way back from when she first started CrossFit, through her car accident, through her knee blowing out at the games, how she felt about that, how she felt about letting her team down, and then into creating street parking and how that all kind of blew up kind of accidentally. So that's exciting. And then let's finish with our best thing from the internet. So let's start with Charlie. And he's shaking his head.
I think of something else now since you talked about Mike Tyson already. The I'm going to say the what's his name? Dan Bailey doing his clean and jerks. That guy's probably older than me at this point, but he still looks like he's 20 something. Nah, he's not older than me. I know that.
I was going to say, how does that happen?
You live too close to him. He will come beat you up.
Listen.
His biceps will just take your hand and go.
Listen, he knows where to find me on this podcast. Yeah, but that's it's still impressive. Through all the injuries that he's had, and he is older than he used to be, obviously, like the world does. But but yeah, it's just a great watch.
And that's the 100 clean and jerks for time?
That's right.
Yeah, okay. That was good. Amy.
So mine has to do, because this is a timely thing that's, that just started, that's come back, and it was on TikTok, but I've seen it on other things too, but it's where typically in these videos, it's the wife or the woman that she's playing a song, and it's the dun 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 dun, and then all of a sudden you see the husband come in and is like, what? For Sunday Night Football. So I got a crack out of that.
My favorite one was the guy like stumbling down the stairs because he was running so fast.
Yeah.
I saw someone played it for their husband who was napping on the couch,
Yes.
and he sort of woke up because he thought he was missing something.
Yep.
That's
I
great.
loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
Kat?
So yesterday, Masters Fitness Collective has published 4 YouTube videos, and it's footage of behind the scenes from every day of the competition. So day 1, 2, 3, and 4. Jim Mahan is the guy behind it who was the cameraman, the interviewer. He was like the Savan of the event, and did a really great job. People have been sort of waiting for it to be released. I got through the first episode like day one yesterday. It was really fun to see sort of all the things that I didn't get to see being sort of running around behind the scenes. So it was really cool. I can't wait to sit down and watch all of them. So that would be, I think you can find it on the Masters Fitness Collective YouTube channel. So check it out.
And so I'm going to finish with, it's called 10 Questions with Kyle Brandt. And it has 5 episodes out now. And it's labeled as a podcast, but he asks questions of his guest that in some way loosely are related to them. And it could be very loosely related somehow to them, but it's a creative way of doing it. And he's actually the host of NFL This Morning on the NFL Network, but he also has celebrities on. Like he had Paul Rudd is one of the people, Guy Fieri is one of the people, and in the middle of the questions they just chat and talk, and it's like an interview process in between the questions. But he makes it competitive a little bit and buzzes them for wrong answers and dings them for right answers. And then at the end of that, each celebrity gets to shout out somebody they think should come on to try to beat their score.
Oh, I like
and
that.
So it's a lot of fun. It's on YouTube. It's actually on the Ringer YouTube channel. It's just one of their shows on the Ringer. They do a ton of stuff, but it's a lot of fun, and you really get to know the people pretty well. It's 3 football players and then Paul Rudd and Guy Fieri in the first 5 episodes. But check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Very cool.
So with that, we want to give Dave Newman a huge thank you for being on the show, and thank RX Smart Gear for being a sponsor of this podcast. And don't forget, we have a discount code. Go to rxsmartgear.com, use the discount code Clydesdale15 in all caps. Clydesdale15 to get you 15% off everything in the store except for new releases and special editions. We also want to thank you for listening, and if you liked what you heard, make sure you leave a comment, like, and subscribe. It really does help the show. It helps it a lot. And with that, we will see you next time on the Clydesdale Fitness and Friends.
Bye.
See ya.